So a couple of months ago, I discovered a brand that somehow went under the radar for me, even though they've been around for a few years now. The company is Beaubleu Watches out of France. The watch I have in is the Seconde Francaise 2024. Good friend of mine, Jason, the producer of the Toronto and Vancouver timepiece show, brought them to my attention. They're coming out to the Vancouver show this spring, and I had to reach out and see if they'd lend one in for me to take a little test drive with and put together a video, and they thankfully agreed to do that. So thanks to them for that. But let's get to it and check out the watch. All right. Now, Beau Bleu watches have been around since 2017, and the owner of the brand, Nicolas du Coudert, comes from the automotive and luxury design background. I like when you can look at a watch and know exactly which brand it comes from. Even being somewhat new to the brand, looking back on previous releases, they share certain design cues, especially the circular hands, and I appreciate that in a brand. For me, I don't usually gravitate to dress watches, but this has some really cool things happening with it that drew me in. There's a few color options available, but when they asked which model I wanted to check out, my eye went straight to this silver dial version. The dial is an interesting take on the sector dial. There's circles happening all over the place here, but it looks beautiful to me. A highlight of the watch is the blue floating second hand. When I first got this, it took a while to figure out how it works, but one giveaway is the white circle above the hand stack that under a macro lens you can see is spinning. I looked hard to actually see it under the macro and couldn't at all, but there's a sapphire disc it's attached to. Any little blemish would be a total giveaway, but you can't see it at all. At the top of the center section is printed Beau Bleu with the company logo. Good, crisp print work. And down at the bottom of that center section is the name of the watch, Seconde Francaise and automatic. Into the next section out is the hours, and then the final has the minute track. It's not a particularly legible watch, but that's not what this is about. And once you get used to it, it's not too bad to get the time, at least within a minute or two. Both the hour and minute hands are loomed. Also, that small circle above the hands. It's a watch that doesn't really need loom, and at night it's even harder to read, even with the loom, but it's quite bright with good staying power. So the dial overall is very easy on the eyes, loving that touch of color, but there's a lot of attention to detail beyond the dial. With the fact that everything is circular, they've gone the extra mile by recessing the crown into the case, keeping the case fully circular looking too from when you're looking at it straight on like this. There is a negative to that too, we'll get to, but how about that side profile? Just as much as I like the dial, the case design is equally up there to me too. The way the bottom section is pushed in like that, that is a neat look, and it gives the illusion the watch is thinner than it is on wrist. The sharp angled down turn of the lugs gives it a modern look, and the finish work is very good. Running the watch is the High Beat France et Bouche FE movement, which is under the Festina Group umbrella. It's quite a nice looking movement, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour and with a power reserve of approximately 46 hours. Thankfully, it is an automatic movement, and that is due to the crown. The one issue with the crown is when it's pushed into the case, it's tough to wind. Only a small bit of surface area is available to run your finger along the bottom to wind it. It's quite a thin crown, too, so I've been mostly just giving it a little shake to get it started. Same with setting the time, not much to get a hold of. So once you pull the crown out, just running your finger along the bottom worked best for me. I'd still have it like this versus a larger protruding crown, but it's not the easiest to wind and set the time. As far as straps go, you get a few to choose from. This black grained leather is a good quality strap with quick release curved spring bars. The deployant clasp is good, but it's kind of standard issue, fairly typical clasp. does look very good on the watch though, but if I was buying, I'd spend a little extra and get the mesh, which is fitted. Not often you see a fitted mesh strap and it looks really sharp on the watch. Size on the watch comes in at a case width of 38.9 millimeters. The lug to lug is 44.7 millimeters. Lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 11.8 millimeters, including the sapphire crystal, which is treated with an anti reflective coating. Water resistance is 50 meters. And here it is on my 7.25 inch wrist, and this is killer. Very cool watch. They have a pretty good warranty on these too. 3 years for the watch, 5 for the movement. The watch is limited to 888 pieces and comes in at 1,490 euros on the strap, 1,590 on the mesh bracelet. So right around 1,550 USD on the strap. Link to where you can find these will be below. Really looking forward to seeing their full lineup this spring in Vancouver. Thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye bye.